thing again?
I don't know how to not do the lip thing
Just think of it as not even being there, Frank. Just think
when
of
I
it
do
as not
this.
even being there, because think about it. It's just us having a conversation. Nobody
Yeah.
can actually see this yet. So
All right. Welcome to the Poker Dealer Podcast. Today's guest is Rob Wood. And Rob Wood is my favorite player in poker. I don't know if he's my favorite poker player, but you're my favorite player in the poker world. Is that I think I like that introduction. What do
He's my third favorite.
thank you. I would say maybe I'm your favorite player in the Philadelphia area. You know,
I don't really hang out with poker players in other areas,
that's
you know.
true, but you know of them.
Sure, I think maybe my favorite poker players are some random strangers I meet and play with in weird places in different countries
Well,
and
that's always the best when
yeah,
nobody knows you.
exactly. But just in this area, yeah, you're right. That would make better sense. So and I think by the end of this podcast, people will understand why. So let's start light. What's your origin story? What's Rob's origin story? How did Rob Wood end up in the world of poker?
Well, I started playing poker in 2007. I was 23. Yeah, I learned how to play poker just playing with friends, and it just kind of happened organically. I really loved it. It was a fun game to learn and play. And at 23, I was one of my only friends who had a house.
Mhm.
So obviously they would come over to my place, and we would hang out there, and then we would just play cards in the basement, and then weekend trips to Atlantic City, because this was before all of the
All the big, yeah,
casinos
yeah. You
opened
had
up
the
around
Taj
here.
Mahal. That was like the
Yeah, Borgata was mainly our spot.
okay.
We would go to Borgata. We wouldn't even get a room. We would just be there 3 days in a row, just gambling, and then back to work, and then, more poker. And then we started running our own games. So, kind of did that for 10, 15 years on and off.
Okay. The I remember I would like playing at the Taj Mahal because I was pretty young and it just seemed like the games were easier. And whenever I went and played at Borgata, I just got crushed. And I was like, this is a different level or league of players, even at just 1-2, no limit stakes. And then I ended up like trying to get better. And once I could win at Borgata, I was like, okay, now I can beat any 1-2 no limit game because for some reason, it just, the players at Borgata just seemed like better players. Like
Well, what stakes were you playing,
just
Frankie?
1-2. I was
Just 1, 2?
yeah, I didn't have much money.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but back then, before the casinos were here in the Philadelphia area, I mean, that room at Borgata was just filled. There'd be 75 to 100 tables going every night,
Yep.
and it was just jam-packed.
Yep.
Everybody would just, flock to one place, and that's kind of where we all cut our teeth at, I guess.
Yep.
Taj Mahal is a good place to play poker.
Did you used to play there a lot, Trey?
Not
or-
really, no. I played there a handful of times. Borgata, more Bally's played.
Oh, the Wild Wild West room.
No, it was like
So
upstairs at one point.
the you playing poker at the casino, I'm just gonna assume your vibe at the poker table at the casino is just like the vibe that I see you playing whenever you're playing. You're pretty much, you have a great reputation for having a good vibe and good attitude at the table. What's your mindset whenever you walk into a poker room?
My mindset whenever I walk into a poker room is kind of just laid back. I mean, I'm very competitive. I always want to win just like everybody else, right? But, I guess there's not a lot of added pressure on me to win when we play cash games, because I've just played them for so long that I've just more recently started like breaking out or like trying my hand at the tournaments, maybe like the last 5 years since COVID. And we've been playing those a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I'm just trying to keep it casual. And, I love to play poker. I play it a lot more than the average bear, I'd say, for sure. But, just lighthearted. We're never, really worried about winning. If it happens, great.
Gotcha.
Okay, so you got the classic, I play poker to meet men. Where did that joke come from, and how many confused stares has it earned you?
Yeah, when you break that out, in a poker game, that can definitely it can elicit some weird conversations. It can definitely some people can get freaked out by it, but it's all in good fun. I mean, I'm married with 3 kids, obviously, so it's just a joke when I say that. It's kind of like to break the ice or keep it lighthearted.
It cracks me up every time because it's usually a different group of people who haven't heard it before. Like I might be someone who's heard you say it like a few times, but it's very enjoyable for me to see other people's reactions. And people typically laugh right away. They get it that it's a joke because
Yeah, it's just it's just something lighthearted that we like to do. I don't know where it came from. It kind of just spawned one day. Been like a running joke
it's a
for
good one because it like makes sense that if someone wanted to meet men, this is where you can easily do it.
statistically, in a casino, in a poker room, yeah, it really is.
Yep.
There's
Do you
just
do you
so
remember
many.
any of the standard ones for when I sit down?
Well, the biggest running joke that I have with you, Trey, is when you sit down, and people don't get this, that I've probably known you in the poker world for like maybe 15 years now, ever since you started dealing it. Harris was, I think, is where I met you. But a lot of people don't know this, that like we have this kind of thing going on where you sit down and then I make fun of you for being uber wealthy, and and then I tell everybody that you lost it all. So I'm just like, Trey, what is it like to, have millions of dollars and now you deal poker for a living? So, and I mean, what's some of the running jokes that we have on it? Like, oh, your dad owned a chain of Sizzlers and that's where you got all your money from. And people are like, are you serious? Even when you like get up and like tap out of the box, people are like, wow, that guy had a ton of money. I was like, yeah, man, his dad really,
Yeah, like and
really
if
messed
you
it up.
leave before I leave, like I just keep going on with like, yeah, he had like an addiction to eating sushi off of naked ladies, and, and he would always go for the choice pieces first. You're supposed to save those.
Yeah, it's just all about having fun when you're playing poker because, I mean, let's be serious, guys. We're all blessed. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
we get to play
So
poker.
on that note, I'm skipping the next two questions. What's the most absurd or hilarious thing you've witnessed that you remember at a poker table?
Hmm. The most absurd thing I think I've ever witnessed at a poker table is probably just somebody not paying. I mean, I've witnessed that a couple times. I actually witnessed that this year at your uh
Okay.
and it was just absolutely unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. To this day, people are willing not to you know.
It was an all-in situation, I'm assuming,
It
and
was in a PLO game, and a guy went all in. He was called. They never put the money over the line, and I guess the guy lost. And I mean, maybe it was his case money or not, but he just literally grabbed the chips and just ran out. And the guy who was supposed to win the pot, he ran after the guy. They got security involved, and then next thing you know, there's like the guy got into his car in the parking lot and like drove off, and like they left it up to like the police. So
okay.
that was pretty crazy.
All right.
By the way, I'm just gonna censor the name because that's just one thing. I don't want to put any names
Gotcha.
out there. But
Gotcha.
that's
I
all good.
understand.
If you say the name,
Nah, we won't say it anymore.
I can
That's
easily
fine.
censor it. It's just gonna sound
That's
like
fine. Yeah.
Do you remember the first hand you ever played in a real casino?
The first hand I ever played in a real casino, yeah, I always played 2-5 when I started because
he had a house. He was loaded.
well, yeah, I definitely had a much bigger bankroll than a lot of my friends for various reasons. But we would definitely we would play a little bit more on the bigger side, I'd say 2-5, 5-10. Chester was always great. The games were so good back then when you guys first got into the industry. I miss those days. But the first hand I played, obviously I won because then you get addicted, right? Well, not addicted, but you're always chasing that high.
Mhm.
So, you win. Oh, this is easy. I'm going to make money all the time.
The first casino I got to play at, I was 18, and it was Windstar. It's an Indian reservation right north of Texas, like an hour north of Dallas on Oklahoma border.
I'm familiar with it.
And I played 1-2 not long after I turned 18, and I think I was down to my last $12 of my $200 or $300 buy-in. I had Queen 10 offsuit, go all in for my last $12. The whole table calls. I have the, ace high straight, quintuple up, and then from there I just started winning. I made like 800 in profit. That was my first session ever playing at a casino, and that's what it got me. I was like, oh wow, like I know how to come up, from just $12 a chip in a chair, pretty much.
That's pretty interesting because most people that win that kind of money their first time, they're probably gone after like winning 200. If you had that small amount on the table, they're like, oh, I'm out of here. There's no etiquette. They just up and leave.
Yeah, like after you make your money back plus an extra 100 or two. Yeah, not for me. I was like, no, I'm here to play, and just played my best. I was like, I can beat this game.
That's awesome. Well, yeah. I would say at the casinos, they definitely before Philly and all the casinos that came here, the good old days, 2007, 2008, 2009, poker was just a big game of chicken. It really was. I mean, it was, who had more money than who. People were just doing the most outlandish stuff. It was easy to make money back then when you didn't really have to do much. You just kind of had to have just half a brain and sit there. But
ABC pretty much.
yeah, most of it was I got it. I really fell in love with the game when I was playing with friends and home game scene, and we'd play at our like local pool hall. They'd have games on like Tuesday and Thursday. There were small stakes for me at least, so it kind of gave you an edge when the money really didn't matter. But that's kind of where I fell in line with it. It's home game scene was really heavy back then, and now I can't even tell you the last time I was at a home game.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
How about a crazy lineup? Has there ever been a game or whatever casino you were at where it was just the craziest lineup for you? Stars kind of aligned. Maybe it was a great session because of the lineup, or just a wacky bunch of players that was like, what the hell am I doing here with these people?
Well, back in the day, it was really like when we had a lot of the really good games going. I don't know if you guys remember a player at Chester. This guy, I'm not going to say his name. He was a shorter Italian guy with glasses. He had a.
You could say his name. We'll just censor it. It's fine.
Do you remember Gary?
No.
Really? Wow.
Oh yeah. His daughter was dating a professional poker player.
Well, that I don't know if that information might give it away, but okay.
No.
All right.
Yeah. Well, regardless, he had a smoke show daughter, and he was a South Philly guy, and when he would come around, or Portia Pat or any of those kind of guys would come into the game, they would just make it absolutely insane. That was always fun. I always like to play with the maniacs. Playing with the robots is fun to a sense, but you have to have the right mix. You have to, or the game is just.
Yeah, it's just stagnant and dull, boring.
Yeah, I mean, I literally, if I walk into a casino and I look around and I see the tables, and I'm just like, this is dust. I'm out.
Is there one person that comes to mind where you're like, you see that person at a table, you're like, yeah, I wouldn't sit here if you paid me to sit here?
Let me see. Not really, because I don't really play cash at the lower stakes anymore, as opposed to, like I told you, I'm playing a lot of tournaments now. But I mean, the faces. When you go into the casino and you sit down and the lineups are there. I mean, they're lifers. You want to call them Ms. Regs, you want to call them whatever, but
Gotcha.
Do you have like a go-to meal or ritual before or after playing a long session?
A go-to meal?
Or ritual.
For me?
Some people like rip a bong in the car.
Oh, that's just a Wednesday for me.
Can't say that.
No, not really. I'm like a one meal kind of guy, like a day. I love breakfast food, so I will. If we had a long session, we'll go out for like the diner, something like that. And sometimes I go up to up there in that little place, Bethlehem. I won't say the casino's name, but
you can say the name again. I could just
after there's a little it's a Waffle House. There's a Waffle House up there that's open 24/7. Sometimes after a long session, we'll go up there and play or eat after we play, and Not really much.
Waffle House is a good after poker spot because so me and Adio we did a WSOP circuit event in Cherokee, North Carolina.
Oh yeah,
You
and
ever
they're
been there?
littered with Waffle Houses all over the turnpike and the
This one
I-95.
is like less than a mile away from the casino there. It's a Harrah's Cherokee. And
Yeah, they're about to have a circuit stop there
yeah,
now.
they have 4 of them a year. So in a few years, every April, I would just went there to go make extra money and deal. And me and Adio were there, and basically the only thing we were working 13-hour, 14-hour shifts sometimes, or just that was the average, 12 to about 15 hours. You were allowed to. They don't pay you overtime because it's an Indian reservation, so you just kind of agree to that. And Waffle House, only thing that's open, and just so every night, just like grubbing on Waffle House, and it's like funny because you see people from coming in and just different characters, coworkers, whatever, in a Waffle House, and everyone's kind of it's like a little it's like when you go into a bar and it's only just 4 or 5 of you there, and everyone just becomes like really good friends in that moment.
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
poker's a great mediator in that way, right? I mean, people like to play poker. You got to eat.
yeah.
So,
If there was like a blooper reel of poker, like things you've seen at a poker table or things you've done, anything like stick out that you would like, that would make the poker blooper reel?
I don't know if it's a blooper reel. I'm always looking out for the guys who are inventing new angles.
Oh, I love that.
And I absolutely love to see something I've never seen in that aspect. It's great. I'm like, man, where the hell? Sometimes it happens organically. Sometimes it happens like, oh yeah, he's a scumbag for sure. And I'll never forget there was one time, this was the best angle I ever saw, and it was completely the guy who won the hand's fault, but the guy is it's cash game, 5-10, deep, everybody's deep, and the maniac is betting, 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 and on the river, it's on him first, and the guy he's playing against obviously has the best hand. He has a stone nuts. He takes a stack of chips. They're all black, hundreds obviously, and he puts it on top of another one. So there's like 4K about this just chipped right in the middle, and he pushes it right into the middle. And before he lets his hand go, the guy says, "I call." Well, before he takes his hands off, he literally grabs the entire stack except for one chip and just fucking brings them right back over the line. And
I've seen that numerous times.
I was like, wow, that is a great angle. And it stood because that guy, he preemptively called. Like he called before the guy was done his action. So, they called the floor over, floor let it stand. There was nothing. I was like, bravo, man.
It's
Bravo.
it's a excellent angle. It gets an A+ because not that I want to endorse angles, but you have to be aware of the rule that some places it's the opposite, where whatever you push forward, that stays no matter what. You can't leave one chip behind. I mean, that's common where people have tried to bet like one or two, maybe a stack of green and then drop one green chip off from the bottom of it. But you describing the 2000 on top of 2000 in black, and then I guess having a good grip where you can take 1900 off.
Yeah, well,
That takes some.
he was going for a bluff, obviously, and if this guy would have just had a little bit of patience, maybe another 5 to 10 seconds, not even, he probably would have got the full 4,000 off of that guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Instead, he got really excited. Oh my God, I'm about to win an 8K pot, whatever, 10K pot, and
He let his instincts or emotions like get the best
yeah,
of
you
him.
have
Yeah.
to like really just take a second in the moment there and see what the guy's gonna do because he was ready to blast off,
Yep.
and then somebody else got it.
My favorite angle was Chop Chop, who's like known as the king of angles. Like he's in a tank, and some guy when he like threw his bet, like a chip rolled over to Chop. No, that was something else. So like his one was he's thinking, and he whispers to me, he's like, "This is tip," and the guys are on the opposite end of the table, and he fucking throws the tip towards that other guy, and the other guy thought it was a call of his all in. It's like, I got the nuts. He's like, no call. That's tip. And I was like, yeah, he just told me that's my tip. And I brought the floor over. I explained the whole situation, and they ruled in his favor.
That guy Chop Chop, he gets around, man. I've seen him everywhere on the East Coast. Literally, if I go somewhere, Florida, if I go to Maryland, I've seen him all. I've even seen him up north.
Really?
Yeah.
I like the angle story you were about to mention. Basically, player makes a bet on the river or something.
Yeah.
One of the chips
Rolled over
from
to
his
Chop
stack
Chop.
rolls over to Chop Chop, and Chop Chop kind of casually just grabs it and it's like holding on to it, just playing with it. And he's like thinking, and then he throws that chip forward back like towards the center of the table, and the guy thinks that it's a call, but he's just claiming that he's throwing the guy's money back.
Yeah, you have
That's-
to. You really have to be careful with some of these guys out here because I mean they're like perfectionists at it. You have to just
But you can't
Take
really plan that someone's chip rolls over to you and you're like you have to have the instincts to be like, oh, I can angle this for sure right
Yeah,
now.
like what can I exploit
You
today?
can't think ahead unless you've seen something happen before and you're like, oh, I heard of a chip rolling to a player, I'm going to use that angle. Otherwise, it's spontaneous. You can't like predict something.
I'll give you
like
one
that.
I've never even seen. Like, I don't like you, whatever, and you got a monster hand, and I have shit. I muck my cards into your cards. Your hand's dead.
I've never seen that, but I've heard
Right.
that that's happened before. That's
Yeah,
where
like,
chip protectors kind
I
of.
would
seen
assume
that.
that would immediately be a fist fight. Like,
Well, it's your job to protect your hand.
Right.
Obviously, we don't
Right.
have to go over that, but it's also like I've seen somebody play a pot with a guy and then muck the guy's cards that he's playing with. The guy like got up and was like, he was like doing push-ups on the ground for some reason. The guy that was next to him literally took the two cards and just dumped them right in the muck. What can he do? What can he?
wait, was
what
it the
can
guy
do?
he was in the hand with?
It was the guy he was in the hand
God.
with. Yep. The guy got up from his seat and started doing push-ups on the ground. And I guess because he had the nuts or something like that. And then the guy he was playing against literally grabbed his two cards, slid them into the muck, and there was nothing they could do.
Wait, whoa, so they ruled in that guy's favor? The guy that mucked the other guy's cards?
Yeah, it's
Well, the
guy's
hand's
supposed
dead.
Yeah,
I'm
his
assuming
hand's
that
dead,
you
and
have
the guy's
the
supposed to.
supervisors will be like, well, you're not allowed to be here anymore. You can't just get up and muck someone else's hands. Like, you're not supposed to touch anyone else's cards.
Oh yeah, the game was instantly in the shitter after that. I think the guy racked up after he was awarded the pot. But it just goes to show like you really just have to take a second and then always ask questions. Like the dealer's there to help you. So was that a call? Is that not a call? Is it still on me? I mean, these are very simple things that can be verified
Yeah.
before you make
Patience.
an action.
Patience.
So yeah, on that note, what what could poker players do that would be, make the poker world a better place or more appreciated?
Hey, a lot of poker players I see are just misregs. Everybody's not happy. They're just in there trying to make $1, and I get that. I totally get it. But I mean, just everybody has to realize like you're in here playing for hundreds or thousands of dollars or whatever it is. You just got to be thankful for that. I mean, there's literally people down the street from the casino that are looking for their next meal.
It's true.
So it's
And
just
you're
like
probably going to eat a free meal after this game.
we're all blessed. I mean, what's there to be sad or unhappy about because you're down money today? You'll be up money tomorrow, and then will you feel any different?
Yeah, no, it's a very good.
What
point.
about dealers? What can dealers do that you would like? You think?
that you think? Yeah, you personally think that some dealers ought to be doing that could make the poker world better for other dealers or players or just in general?
I'll tell you what, I was out at the WSOP for the summer. I was there for 5 or 6 weeks. And I went to the WSOP, and there were a lot of dealers that were either brand new or never dealt a day in their life or, just getting into it. And I was very surprised that a lot of them didn't speak English. A lot of them were just, being very silent and, trying to do it at their pace, which is good because they need to start out slow, right? They need to, limit the mistakes of what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like we need to start really bringing some more dealers into, the fold here because if they're looking for dealers that can't even speak English, that must mean that there's a lot of turnover in the industry because the people that were doing it aren't doing it anymore, right? So we either need to give them more incentive to stay or, just something in general to help them out.
In defense of the WSOP, it isn't like a permanent position. So that's simply why it becomes your foot into the industry, foot in the door into the industry because it's a temp job, and in order for the whole production to be successful, even a little bit successful, you have to have enough dealers. And so, yeah, as long as you have a pulse, so they say, you can get in. But I think they put in as much, they try to make an effort, as much as they can to get good quality dealers and prepare them for the most common things that they need to be prepared for. Unfortunately, not everyone wants to fall in line. Not every dealer is striving to get better, and not every dealer even knows what to really expect. You have to kind of get thrown into the wolves, have that experience, and then you learn over time, okay, this is what it is. And then you learn from other professionals and coworkers in the industry, like, this is how you get better, and this is, by getting better, you're going to be more valued, appreciated by coworkers, staff, and players, and you'll make more money.
I agree with that, Frank, for sure. I call it baptism by fire. They have to just be thrown in there and just like kind of get their feet wet.
Baptism by fire.
So, it's, but also as players, we need to be policing the game, watching what's going on and making sure we're holding the dealer accountable. But, as far as what dealers can do better, nothing irks me more at a poker table if a dealer can't cut chips. It just takes away from the game in a way that, it's, this person's in for $212. This person's in for $818. This person's in for $9. And then, the simple math of the game, but then being able to cut the chips where they have to get the pot right. That just comes with time. Obviously, us being in the industry for a long time and, it's like second nature. I've never dealt a hand of poker ever in my life, but I know I would probably be better than 95% of the people that do it.
Like cutting chips or just dealing in general?
Both.
Gotcha.
Both.
Yeah, I mean, you've been...
Can we get some B-roll footage of him trying to deal a hand of poker?
Yeah, that's perfect. We're going to do that.
Yeah, 100%. We could do that. Yeah, try it. Why not?
Okay. At the end of this, jump on the table here and...
Yeah, you can tell me what I'm doing wrong and what I need to improve on.
Okay.
If
like
I ever...
one or two hands. Maybe just
one.
All right.
Go broke, I could...
I don't doubt it, by the way. I think you would be excellent at it because you know the intricacies, you know the ins and outs. You've seen basically everything.
Well, everybody plays poker for a different reason. And a lot of the lifers or, the guys that are like really invested, they want to see dealers that know what they're doing, competent dealers that can, just move the hands along and get them as many hands as they want, obviously, because that's the name of the game. They just want as much volume as possible. But, it's always great when you have good dealers. That's for sure. It can be a long half hour or an hour or whatever it is if a dealer's new. And, I show a little grace in that aspect. I try to help them out as much as I can, but there's only so much.
I think the best dealers that I've seen and experienced are ones that have experience playing. They don't necessarily have to have been professional poker players or whatever and then became dealers, but just casual recreational players. If, the ones that became poker dealers, such as myself, I was playing poker just for fun during high school and college. And then I decided to pivot into the casino industry. So even cutting chips, while I never knew how to cut them professionally, the standard operating procedure way that casinos make you do it, I knew how to cut with my thumb, a thumb cut, which was still fast. And it took me time to learn the casino way, but still, just as a new dealer, like you said, if that was like the biggest thing that irked you, that I wouldn't let that slow me down. If I had to just get the chips cut down to verify them, I wouldn't be sitting there for 5-10 seconds with my hand shaking just to break down the chips.
You could teach somebody that over time for sure, cutting the chips, the proper procedural way to do it. But I mean, most of these people are over 21, Frank. A lot of them don't even know simple math,
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming in with the school is I have, exercises for math. I have exercises for cutting the chips, exercises for customer service and certain situations and knowing just the really simple rules. And a lot of the rules are there to avoid angle shooting. And so having to explain to them what that means, the angle shooting and why that the reason for the rule. And that's how they start to begin to understand the game and the integrity of it. And that's where the rules fall into place.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense, especially for people that are coming into the industry brand new, because it can definitely be very intimidating when you're sitting there with other people. It's your job, and you
Hold on,
know,
let's take a quick break for just a moment.
take your time, whatever.
Thinking about a career change, the Poker Dealer School of Philadelphia can train you to be casino ready in just weeks, not years. No experience? No problem. We'll teach you everything, plus give you post-grad support to help land your first job.
Okay, so we're back and kind of picking up where we just left off. What do you think? What's something players need to better understand or maybe respect about the dealers, about poker dealers, in your opinion?
I would just advocate for patience because not all dealers are on the same level. You guys are, signed, sealed, like, 100% like great dealers, obviously. There's dealers that are just coming in the industry and they could be intimidated and they don't need a player berating them or harassing them. They need positive encouragement, they need positive reinforcement, and they need to know that it's okay if you mess up. But take your time and, just understand that that's a person's job. Like if they're not trying, I get it. Maybe, bring a floor on board or something like that, but
Mhm.
it's not the easiest job. I get that.
We make it look easy, is what I tell people. That we make it look, and which we're about to kind of find out. We'll do a mock hand with you, and you probably can pitch the cards, but we'll see.
I was thinking the pitch would probably be his weakest thing.
I don't know. I just have a feeling that he probably been around a deck of cards more than a few times, and probably decided I'm gonna sling some cards around the table.
Uh, I mean, when we were hosting and running games back home where I'm from, sometimes I'd hop in there, give a dealer a break or something like that, But most of the time, I would hate to be in there, and it was like I dreaded it.
Hmm.
I always just wanted to kind of either play or hang out.
What would you say separates good players from great players?
Bankroll management, patient, for sure. I mean, you could have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have any money to play, what are you gonna do? I mean, there's a ton of really, really good players that that haven't broken through, I'd say, but then there's also a ton of guys that have broken through, and where they at now? No money. If you don't have any money, you can't play.
Yeah.
So
So it's bankroll management's always
yeah,
been number one.
it's just longevity. And, poker life or poker in general, you know, in my mind is how long can you last in the game? I haven't had a job in 15 years. Just play poker for a living.
Yeah.
You know?
So coming off of that question, what do you think poker teaches people about themselves?
Oh my God. Teaches about themselves. Humility, for sure. I mean, there's any given night when you sit down in a game, regardless if it's a cash game, a tournament, PLO, whatever, you can just sit down and Oklahoma Joe can just
I
run
love
your
Oklahoma.
pockets.
I
I
love
mean, he can
Oklahoma
literally just like turn you upside down and just shake all the money out of your pockets. It's just like nothing you can do. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter, what your skill set is. Doesn't matter what your bankroll is. This guy can literally just come over and hit you in the head. And those are the games that I'm always looking for. I'm looking for the game. I hate when the game is silent. It's just annoying.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I think you were making an expression, Oklahoma Joe. There's Oklahoma John. You
I know Oklahoma John.
Yes.
Yeah, Oklahoma John, shout out, buddy.
Yeah, I'm
Good
gonna
guy,
get
good guy.
him on here. I
He's a
thought that's who
grinder.
you were talking about.
No,
I
he's
was
a
like,
grinder, man.
yeah,
Oklahoma
but that's
John.
why. But you describing that Oklahoma Joe, I was like, oh, Oklahoma John. I love that guy, and I was just imagining him just like crushing everyone at a cash game somewhere. But he's more. I see him mostly in tournaments. He plays some cash, but I wouldn't be surprised if that he was crushing it in cash as well.
No, he's in the streets in the tournaments. I see him at the tournaments, locally when they're back here in the backyard.
Yeah.
So
What from poker carries over into your real life? Like, what attributes affect your real life away from the felt?
I would say, me personally, I've always been a very frugal person, and I tend to do that with my finances too. Like I'm always, if I win in a session, I'm like one of those guys where if I hit a number and that's my number, it doesn't matter if I've been there, 15 hours, 15 minutes. I assess the situation, see if the game is good. And if the game is good, I'll stay. If it's not, then I'll just get up and go. I always look at it as I'd rather take my paycheck and get home and spend some time with the family. And, rather than sit there for 15 hours and then break even after I was up, a couple grand when I first got there in the first orbit.
The old
So,
upstuck.
yeah, upstuck is definitely a word for it. Poker, more or less for me, is just kind of a way to just pass time. I used to play like heavy out in the pits too, but I've really taken like a back seat to that, and I just do it for fun now. Like some slots, some
Some
high
baccarat.
stakes roulette. Like
Okay,
that's
high
it.
stakes
High
roulette.
stakes roulette sometimes is really fun for me. I have some buddies that like really degen and Bach, and I don't really play it that often, but sometimes I'll go out there and mix it up with them.
Can you
But
give a shout out to any roulette numbers, or like that you not want to jinx them?
I always play the same numbers. I'm like so my numbers are right in the middle, like the entire middle column,
Uh-huh.
going right down 2, 5, 8, 11, 14, 17, 20, 23, 26, 29, 32,
He's
35.
got them memorized.
And I always play 33.
Yeah.
And that's 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 pretty much it. Yeah,
Eight's my number.
eight's a great number. 8 is a great number. I've seen the most I've ever seen somebody gamble in real life is in roulette, and I literally was watching a guy spin houses at the Bellagio one day. I mean, it didn't look like he had money. It looked like money had him because he was probably 75 years old. He looked like he had just gotten off of a job, off the street, fucking like, digging ditches or something. Like you wouldn't expect this. This guy's walking around with fucking 25K and 100Ks in his fucking hand, and you're like,
I get
wow,
what
this
you
is
mean now.
nuts.
I was like, money had him, and then now I
Money
understand.
has
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I get it now.
exactly. And then next thing you know, he's playing, and then a crowd forms behind him, and then next thing you know, there's 30 people watching this guy spin $500,000 in one spin.
What could I've never seen something like that. So what could supervisors in a roulette pit do about that? I mean, they know it's roulette. There's nothing like, what do they switch the dealer out from the spin? That's something that might be
This
possible.
guy specifically, you could tell like this wasn't his first rodeo. This is something that he did. He had a strategy, and he definitely was somebody that they knew. So they just let him he probably had a line of credit, something like that. He started out with flags, and he would throw 5,000s, 1,000s, and 500s. 500s were the smallest denomination chip he was gambling. And what he would do is he would bet right in the middle. The middle was his area. So he'd load up 1Ks, 500Ks on, 13 through 24 everywhere, just sprinkle them. And it would just be a mountain. And then he would come down the middle. He'd play 2, 5, 8, 11. He'd play the middle numbers on the bottom, 26, 29, and 32 and 35. And then he'd play the zeros. But then he'd also take like maybe 100,000 and just throw it right in the middle. So if the middle hits, it's over. It's literally over. Like you're winning, I couldn't even calculate it. All I know is when I saw him walk up, he probably had about 75 to 125,000 he was playing with. And when he walked away, he had probably 7 or 800,000 in 25K chips that he just like tucked away and just walked off like it was nothing. It was gone, dust.
What a
Coolest 20 minutes for those people that were watching for sure. Most I've ever seen anybody gamble.
I can only imagine just kind of walking out after having experienced that enormous gambling session and just being like, holy smokes, like I just walked away from this casino with this much money. You know what I mean? It's got to be like almost a once in a lifetime. I mean, if not a once in a lifetime experience. Like,
Well, I mean,
unless you are already gambling at least $1 million a day in a casino or something.
that's just, different stages in life.
Yeah, but
Right.
imagine your
He's,
first time having that kind of experience. It's such a different roller coaster than in poker, you know?
Yeah, that guy's in a different tax bracket, bro. I mean, there's not really much else you can say. I mean, if he's able to gamble, 100, 200,000 in a couple roulette spins.
Well, I mean, like in the sense of, let's say it's a guy that money had him and it's his like kind of first time running through this kind of money.
Oh, the high that he would chase after that. I mean, you've seen the stories, guy blows 200 million at the casino because they keep him there.
But I've never seen it. I've never been there for it, you know? It seems like
Yeah,
you were kind of,
I've seen some people gamble extremely high, and most of the time it ends up either really good because they get in and out, or it ends up bad because they always want a little bit more. And I always tell them, if you always leave with a little bit more than you came with, you never go broke taking a profit.
yep.
So,
All right, let's ask this last question and then we'll do a little round of rapid fire questions. If you could redesign one part of the poker room experience and structure, vibe, etiquette, rules, or something, like what would you do? Would there be the kind of player that's never allowed, or rules that must be in place? Like if you could just make up any rule that you wanted in a poker room or card game.
for me personally, it would probably be well, I mean, it's kind of selfish, but I would raise the buy-in limits for games, because I love to play deep. And when people are coming in and they're taking a shot in the 5-10 and they're sitting down with 500 or 1,000, you kind of want that seat for somebody else that fill it with a little bit more money. Other than that, I mean, some rooms allow you to eat in them, some of them don't. I mean, when I was playing cash, as my job, most of the time, you would spend a lot of time in the room, so that would be nice. Like I love the Venetian for that reason. The food's excellent and they can bring it right to you. Now, not so much. I went to their new room over the summer and it's congested. It's really congested in there.
I haven't been there in like 10 years, but I also really liked that room when I played in it.
Their older room, the one that you've been to, was great because it was on the casino floor. This one's like in the middle of like the shopping mall, and like they just don't have enough room.
They reduced the size of the poker room. They changed it.
In my mind, they reduced the size of the poker room. I got there, and my goal was to play a tournament. I think it was when I stopped by. It was like 6 p.m. And if you didn't sign up before 6 p.m., you probably waited 2 or 3 hours to get into a seat because they just didn't have enough tables open. There's like multiple, PLO running and cash games, and
there's just not enough tables. Even if they had enough tables, yeah.
Even if you had enough dealers, there's just not enough. That just blows my mind. You completely redesigned a room and there's not enough room to, host. Mind you, they probably don't get that all the time, but it's that was odd to me.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating. It's a similar thing in Amsterdam. I played at the Holland Casino in Amsterdam.
Yeah, I've heard it. My buddy was telling me about it. He was playing there earlier this year or late last year.
You got to sign up, you got to call the room or go in, put your name on the list around noon, because the poker games start around 7 o'clock. There's only about 10 tables, maybe 8, and the first people on the list are the first ones sitting down. So you might be waiting a few hours. By the time people get up, you're only going to be playing for a few hours because it closes at 2 or 3 a.m. as well.
That's smart. I mean, keep money in people's pockets and, and don't let them have a problem, because I'm sure there's people that would just stay there forever, right?
Sure, but it's mostly because there's not that many poker tables. If they had more, then
you could scale.
Yeah.
You could scale.
All right, let's do, in closing, some rapid fire questions. I'll do the first one real quick. Straddle or no straddle?
Depending on the game, mostly always straddles. I prefer the straddle under the gun. But the sickest games with the straddle that I like to play is, you're just talking about Oklahoma. That's funny. The Choctaw straddle. When you go to, have you guys ever played there before?
I'm hoping it's just like the Golden Nugget straddle will go on.
It's a straddle on the button.
And they get to act ultimately last.
There you go. You already got it. I'm going to have to explain it to you. I mean, for a straddle to supersede the blinds, go all the way around, then supersede you as the button, then go back to the blinds, that's just, I mean, you'd be crazy not to just do that every time.
Yep.
You're just getting more money in the pot in position. So that's what we all want.
And it's kind of a little bit more fair to the blinds to not have to act immediately first after a button straddle, right? Is that?
Yeah, they can implement these rules at these Indian reservations a lot more, vicariously, I guess is the way you want to say it.
What about the Rock? You ever play with the Rock?
I've played games with the Rock. It's not bad. It incites a little bit of action, but you know, depending on the player type, some people are going for it, some people aren't, I would say, in that. I like that one where, I forget what it's called, but everybody puts like a green chip or a red chip on the dealer button, and then it goes around.
The progressive.
The
It's
progressive, you can only win it in the small blind or whatever it is.
I thought it's on the button. You have
Well,
to
the way
win
we were
on-
doing it
okay.
was that we were making it hard. It's easier to win it with the button, right?
little bit,
It's tougher to win it in the small blind. So that's kind of,
Wait,
you know.
can you explain the rock to people that may not know what it is?
The rock straddle. I mean, some places it's normal, like Hard Rock, Hollywood. Their PLO games with the rock straddle. So essentially, as soon as you win a pot, there's a chip. It's the equivalent to whatever the straddle is for the game, and
Yeah,
so
it's worth $10, $20, whatever.
yeah, whatever the straddle is for the game, the rock is just basically those chips rubber banded together, or maybe there's
Yeah, they have some sort of token, something that they can just, you know,
say
see.
this is official.
This is the rock.
Yeah. So if you win the pot, you get to straddle, regardless of what position you're in. I don't know how it works with the blinds. Maybe you still keep the straddle up like in your big blind or small blind. I forget that part. It's been a little while, but I like straddle and the rock. I mean,
Yeah, if you win the pot, then you get the rock, and then you're ultimately straddling for free.
Yep.
That's all it is. So it's just incentivized to play a little bit more aggressively,
More
to
action.
try and get that.
yeah, it just creates more action, and that was the whole purpose of having a small blind and big blind in any game in the first place, is
Yeah.
having action. It's also strange that, you know, antes are kind of like out of cash games unless it's in stud, which is normal. But antes used to be a regular part of any game, Texas Hold'em or even Omaha, and now I guess it just makes the game go by quicker without an
It's
ante.
just
Yeah.
so much better to not have to, like, you know, enforce the antes for
Yeah.
people, and then the dealers have to deal with it, and then there's always something that can happen, like this guy didn't ante, but this guy did. Well, I anteed.
Yeah.
We don't know, man. Then you got to
Right.
go back to the cameras for a fraction of what's in there. You know, maybe another thing that I would implement. I enjoy 3 blind games.
Okay.
So it's like, you know, 1, 3, 6, or whatever the stakes are. I've been playing a little bit online. I've been dabbling, and the games that I've found are they're micro to me, but they're still, you know, it's 1, 2, 4 are the blinds, and you can only buy in for 400, but it's definitely a lot better because there's something to fight for in there. You know, there's something that you know, I like that people have more skin in the game, and they might take some spots a little bit more wider.
All right. Next rapid fire question. Favorite card room, or favorite area to play poker.
Favorite card room? Here back home, I would say my favorite card room is either Live or Borgata. And it's funny because actually treated me really well the last few years, so I guess my superstition would tend to go there more. Is really good too. There is a lot of blue collar money in that room, and when I say that, you know, recreational players, obviously, guys that, you know, weekend warriors. They play on the weekend, they get a paycheck on Friday, and by Sunday it's gone. So that's kind of where that's at. They also they get some good games when their bad beat jackpot is pretty high,
Yeah.
and you know, the room's packed out. But on the weekends you can find some good. It's been a while, like I said, it's been a while since I played cash, but you know, since I've been doing this tournament thing. And Texas is pretty good too. I always enjoy playing in Texas. I recently just went down to Jacksonville in Florida, and there was a lot of PLO action going on there. But I found that the Hold'em games weren't that bad. It was like January, so it was cold here. I was like, let's go down
If you
there
had to
and play.
pick one out of all those places,
If I had to pick one out of all those places, oh my God, I would just say Texas then, because
Okay.
there's no rake. There's no rake there. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you go there? Everybody's got a pocket full of money. There's no casinos to take your money.
excellent
know?
point. Yeah. Okay.
So
Would you rather be at a table full of your favorite poker personalities or TV pros, just poker, you know, your favorite ones for whatever reason that you grew up watching, or just a table full of maniacs?
table full of maniacs,
Yeah.
100%.
You did say that earlier.
Table full of maniacs, 100%.
But
I
also
always
you
love that.
could have a table full of maniacs almost like more often than you might have a table of your favorite lineup of people, or players or something like that.
Your favorite players or, peers in the game. I mean, you respect them, you respect their game, and, as it would be fun to take money from them, I would say, for my own benefit, I just like to play with maniacs. It's fun. I like
Yeah.
to sometimes be the maniac and then sometimes not be the maniac. You never know what you're going to get some days.
Yep.
So
If poker disappeared tomorrow, what would Rob Wood be doing instead?
that's a good question. Me? What have I been doing recently besides poker? Golf. I'm playing a lot of golf lately. I mean, I'm not that good. I'd probably say I'm about a bogey golfer. So if you guys understand what that is, it's probably like a 20 handicap, something like that, around there, maybe a little bit higher.
Is there a term called a moose head in golf? Have you heard of that one? Am I just hearing things from people?
Moose
It's
head.
kind of like a snowman. Like you get a snowman, right?
It's an 8.
Yeah. And moose head is like I don't know, because the antlers maybe
A
there's
10
Yeah,
because
exactly.
there's so many points on it.
Yeah.
Most of the time, anybody that plays golf, if you get a triple bogey, it usually just like they stop and cut it right there. And the triple bogey is 3 over par.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like all right, you got 3 over, like pick your ball up and let's go, dude.
The best I ever golfed was in Wii Golf, expert mode, hole-in-one. And my nephew was there to witness it. I got a hole-in-one in one of the expert levels in Wii Golf.
I mean, I think everybody's gotten a hole-in-one on Wii Golf. It's been a long time.
Oh, man.
It's been a long time since I played Wii Golf, but I mean, I've definitely bowled about 20 or 30 perfect games in Wii bowling. That's like, my Nintendo Wii claim to fame, I guess. I don't know. It's been a very long time since I played video games. So, but we have all that stuff at home. It's fun.
I was stoked. I was really stoked when it happened. I couldn't believe that I got the hole-in-one. So for me, it was special. If every pro is like, like maybe some pros are and actual pros are like, you haven't gotten a hole-in-one in Wii Golf, maybe you stink,
Do you have any special asks or requests of the audience or shout outs or anything?
Not really. I mean, I would always say hi. I'll tell you what, I would always like to say hi to my kids. Hi, Sloan. Hi, Presley. I see you back at home. You better be sleeping. And, that's it. Shout out to my wife and everybody around here knows me. So shout out to everybody in the Philly poker scene.
Awesome. Hell yeah. All right. Just for fun, who do you like as a better dealer, Frank or Trey?
Oh man, you guys are putting me on the spot.
I don't
man.
care what your answer is.
I'll tell you what, man. I mean, the ongoing joke that me and Trey have had for the last 10, 15 years where I tell people he's a millionaire and now his life is in shambles. That's a good one. It really is.
All right.
Tells
Trey
people,
wins that.
tells people I'm gay for robots.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of like a real thing now.
That was a long time ago,
Yeah.
Trey. I'm surprised you even remember that.
Yeah.
My newest one is if we go on break, maybe since I've been playing a lot of tournaments, I'll yell to the table like a couple minutes before. I always leave a couple minutes before the break, and I'll say, "Excuse me, guys, I gotta go do a quick rewipe." And that one really, really.
Oh, that's great.
People don't know how to take that. You know? People really don't know how to take that. And you guys stone cold faced and they're like, I hope you washed your hands. And I'm like, yeah, I did.
That's money.
Yeah.
That is money.
Got to go hit them with a quick rewipe. That's the new one.
I like it.
Just like taking the time to say that as you get up early, like probably a couple minutes early before the break starts. Yeah.
I mean, don't front, you guys.
Like, I'm the kind of dealer, like, I'm like, Florida, come over, I'm dealing the game, like, I got to poop. And so that'd be funny, like, I got to rewipe.
Yeah. No, you didn't even say anything about me wearing your face today.
That's a handsome man on your shirt.
A buddy of mine gave me this shirt at the WSOP this year. Shout out to the personal chef, Kenny. Thank you for the shirt. And I just thought it was funny. I had to break it out because I was coming to see you.
Kenny, I'm sure we'll do an Eagles tailgate this year.
Yeah. Good
We'll try to get Rob, who does the Bluff Everyone, on here too. He's gonna do it. I mean, he's my buddy. I buy his stuff. I got one of his posters back there. He'll be
Two
on
of his
here.
posters.
Two of his posters.
if I get any of the Bluff Everyone merchandise, I haven't personally bought anything, but I always wanted a Trey Gotti hoodie with, given to me by Trey. That would be, and then I don't have to spend any money either.
Yeah, we could arrange that.
We can make that happen.
We'll see if they're in stock, I guess.
Actually, I think we owe it to him just for being here to make that happen. So
Sure.
that's coming out of Rob Sinning's pocket then.
I mean, who's better than these guys?
All right. That's a wrap. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Hope it was a good time for you.
That was too easy, Mo. We didn't even get to tell any raunchy, but I get it. It could have got...
Thanks for hanging out and watching the show. If you enjoyed it, please take a moment to subscribe. With a simple click of a button, your support will help us create future content for you and others to enjoy. Let's keep this thing rolling so we can keep bringing you more stories, laughs, and maybe a little wisdom. Thanks again.